Hey guys, so today is part 2 of repurposing old items, and if you haven't already watched part 1, then maybe you should go do it because it's part 1 and I do talk about it a little bit more. So we're just going to jump right into it. So our journey starts by walking literally just 4 feet away to this little basket that holds a bunch of stuff inside. And inside these, I have a bunch of these fairy lights, string lights, LED lights, LED lights, I don't know. What do you guys call them? Comment them down below. But I'm going to be choosing this one, and basically it has letters on them, and they're super easy to pop off and pop back in. And it says XOXO, which I don't want to be hanging in my room. And right here I'm just showing you an example. I hung it on my bed frame. To be honest, it's not that bad, but I want to add more color and I want to bring the attention away from the letters and add detail and design. So let's just get our supplies because we are going to be painting these. So I have 2 boxes of paint supplies that I use every time I'm trying to paint. Ow. 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 Also, please do not mind that these transitions are really weird. They're just going to go all of a sudden. Okay, so here are all of our letters where I'm actually missing an X, but that is totally fine because everything works out in the end. So I'm just taking a napkin and I'm starting to paint that with some gesso or some white paint. I only did about 1 layer for this because the paint does chip off when you scratch it a little, so I didn't want that happening all the time. So this was something that helped it stick to the surface a little bit more. So I am taking out some markers and a piece of paper to sketch out my design for what I'm going to be doing, and I filmed a whole clip of me holding the camera with my shaky hands, so I think it would be annoying if I filmed a whole clip like this the whole entire time, super shaky. So let's just skip to the part where it's not that shaky and I came up with my design. So here are all of the letters. I forgot one. Well, actually I forgot 2 of them. And they were looking pretty normal, but I put paint on 2 sides, so they were pretty sticky. Now we need some paint. So to every color, I'm adding a lot of white to create a very light and pastel kind of color. Fun fact, I actually have the lights behind me right now. Now I just took them off.
And I'm holding it right now.
So once I'm done mixing all of my colors, I am just going to start painting them, and I'm going in the order of the rainbow, except I'm doing 2 pinks. I kept on dropping this so many times. Since I was super impatient to let this dry, I decided to give the job to the hairdryer, and it dried in less than 20 seconds, and that one didn't want to be with the family, so it flew away. And back for another coat, and for some of them I only had to do like 2 coats, and then for some of them I had to do like 4. For example, like the yellow, I dropped the pink one on it, so I had to cover that up, and either way yellow was a really light color, so that did need coats anyways. And the blue was a very opaque one, so that only needed like 1 or 2 coats. And now I am finally starting with all of the details. Okay, nope. So I did use my own dotting tool. I just stuck a pin on the end of a pencil and then it became a dotting tool, and then I decided to just switch to a brush. Oh, and this one was a failed one, so I ended up making 7 and 3 of them failed. So this one was the next pink one, and this one I thought would fail, but this one was the one that passed through and made it. This purple one was probably my favorite because it was super simple to do, as well as it matched with the theme I was going for. So this one, since purple is... I don't know what can be purple other than things that can be any other sort of colors. So I decided to do this cheetah pattern. I don't know if this is a cheetah. So apparently it is, but I drew it kind of differently, just doing 2 lines on the side for each. And for the other patterns, there are like 3, or you can surround the whole entire thing. But I never really knew how it looked. I could have looked at a nail art tutorial or something, because I know a lot of people do these patterns on their nails. So basically the theme I was going for the entire thing was using white, a darker color of the background, and maybe putting some details in the back like dots, which I did do except for one. Also, the darker purple was kind of watery. It still looks like it up front right now. Okay, so we are now moving on to the blue one. And for this one, I like to do clouds with a flat bottom and then the normal kind of cloud shape for the top. And that kind of reminds me of like cartoons, which kind of, I was going for that kind of simple look, not too realistic. Since I added a outline to everything, I decided to add a outline to clouds, even though that would look bad, but it doesn't really look like clouds anymore. It just looks like random blobs in the sky, so I kind of liked it, and then I added some birds after that. Oh, and this orange one was another fail. So this one was supposed to be some fire, and I think I didn't like it just because it was super streaky, and for everything else I did patterns all around, and I felt like all the tension was bringing down to the bottom, and it kind of just looked really weird. And also the fire was probably not a good idea because we had clouds, which are fluffy, hearts, which are heartwarming, and we also have the cheetah prints, which are normal patterns, and I felt like the fire was just like destruction and blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And since I saw that the other 2 failed, I kind of just gave up on this one. I originally was doing some stars, but I ended up just doing X's, and they came out super bad, so this one was another fail. So this one is the very last one, and for this one I'm doing plants because I can't think of anything else that is green other than plants that will stay green. So this one was super simple. I just drew a bunch of leaves, and I feel like all the simple ones were the good ones. And I only filmed a portion of this one because all I did other than this was a white outline, the pattern inside a leaf, and a few dots, which I kind of did to everything else. So first we're going to start off with the 3 failed one. First we have the fire one, which is probably my favorite out of the failed ones, and then we have this rose one. And I was doing rose adding like a darker detail, but then it kind of just turned into clouds, and then they were getting weird. And then the last one was the yellow X's, which was super simple and basic. But we can compare them to the final finished ones that turned out good. I think something that matches with them is they all have a touch of a darker color and white and a few dots except for the blue one, but those have birds, so they all match in one way, and I love all the colors I used for each one of them. I definitely don't regret using pastel colors because I think that did give a nicer vibe and a bright and cheerful looking. My favorite has probably got to be the purple one because it was such a simple one and I didn't have to go over them many times. So now it is finally time to put them on the light and finally see how they look. Okay, it's finally time to light these up. I actually haven't even seen them light up yet, so... What? Yes, that was my reaction. What? I think the only reason that my reaction was so priceless is because you can see the paint strokes on it, and I should have kept minding that because I knew that halfway through, but I don't really mind as much. But you thought we were done with the video, because we're not. We still need to add some Mod Podge. So here is the finished result. I think the transformation was amazing. Also, something that I like a lot is that it has one extra light in the center of each of them, which would make me want to hang it because you have color on every other one. Also, when it's off, you also have the beautiful pattern, and when it's on, you have nice, bright and colors. But if you look up close, you can see the paint streaks, but that is totally fine. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I worked really hard on this video, and make sure to give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!